Have you ever felt like you're constantly being pulled in different directions, like you're expected to wear 100 masks just to fit in? At work, at school, online, even with family and friends. It's like the world has written a script for your life and handed it to you before you ever got a chance to write your own. And if you've ever tried to deviate from that script, to say no, to stand up for your truth, or to simply be yourself, you probably noticed how quickly resistance shows up. The looks, the judgments, the questions, the pushback. The world is loud when you're quiet, and even louder when you choose to speak your truth. In a society obsessed with conformity, trends, and comparisons, staying true to yourself almost feels like an act of rebellion. But here's something powerful. The people who leave the biggest impact, who live the most fulfilling lives, who wake up every day with peace in their hearts, they are the ones who dared to stay true to who they are. They are the ones who looked the world in the eye and said, "No, I will not shrink to fit your mold." But that kind of courage doesn't always come naturally. It's something you grow into. It begins with awareness. Awareness of who you are, what you value, what lights your soul on fire. It starts with listening, not to the noise of the world, but to the quiet wisdom inside you. That voice within that says, "This feels right," or "This doesn't align with who I am." Most of us hear that voice, but we ignore it, bury it beneath obligations, expectations, and the fear of rejection. We silence our instincts to avoid rocking the boat. And yet, your authenticity is the most valuable thing you have, because no one else can bring it. No one else has your story, your voice, your specific lens on life. That uniqueness, it's not a flaw, it's your power. And the moment you start trading it for approval, for comfort, for acceptance, you begin to lose yourself. So how do you hold on to that truth in a world that keeps handing you scripts you never asked for? You begin by giving yourself permission. Permission to not know all the answers. Permission to evolve without apology. Permission to say no to the things that don't serve you, even if they once did. The more you give yourself room to be, the less you'll feel the need to perform. A lot of people live their entire lives wearing masks that were never meant for them. They become so good at pleasing others that they forget what it feels like to please themselves. They chase careers that look good on paper, but drain them every morning. They stay in relationships that keep them small. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny and agree with opinions they don't share, all for the sake of keeping the peace. But there is no peace in betrayal of self. There's only silence, emptiness, and regret. The truth is, staying true to yourself will cost you. It may cost you relationships. It may cost you opportunities that weren't really aligned with your purpose in the first place. But the price of betraying yourself? That cost is much higher. It costs you your voice, your integrity, your spark. And once those things are gone, you can have all the applause in the world and still feel empty. So you learn to say no without guilt. You learn to stand firm in your values even when it's uncomfortable. You learn to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You learn that your worth isn't measured by likes, validation, or how many people say you're doing the right thing. The right thing isn't always popular, and the popular thing isn't always right. Sometimes, staying true to yourself means being the only person in the room who thinks a certain way. It means walking away from what's familiar, stepping out of line, and risking being misunderstood. But over time, you begin to see something beautiful happen. You attract the people, the opportunities, and the environments that are aligned with who you really are. Not the performance, not the mask, but the real you. And don't think you have to have it all figured out to be authentic. You don't. Authenticity isn't about being perfect or having some polished version of yourself. It's about being honest. Honest with yourself. Honest with others. It's about saying, this is where I am right now, and that's okay. It's about embracing the mess and the beauty and the becoming. You also have to learn to tune out the noise, because the world will always have something to say, whether you're too loud or too quiet, too ambitious or not driven enough, too different, too emotional, too something. But when you ground yourself in who you are, you begin to realize that other people's opinions are just that, opinions, not facts, not truths, just noise. And not every opinion deserves a seat at the table of your self-worth. Protect your peace, protect your energy, protect your truth like it's sacred, because it is. Surround yourself with people who don't try to change you, but who challenge you to grow into the best version of your true self. People who remind you of who you are when the world tries to make you forget. You also have to be kind to yourself in the process, because this isn't about being stubborn or inflexible. Growth is part of the journey. Sometimes staying true to yourself means admitting when you've outgrown something. It means letting go of identities, dreams, or paths that no longer serve you, even if they once defined you. Authenticity includes evolution. Staying true to yourself doesn't mean staying the same. It means honoring your inner compass, even as it leads you in new directions. And remember, real confidence doesn't come from trying to be someone else. It comes from being deeply rooted in your own skin. It's knowing that your presence doesn't need permission, that you don't need to be louder, quieter, smarter, more polished, or more on brand to be worthy. You just need to be fully and unapologetically. So if today you feel like you're not enough, or that you have to change who you are just to be accepted, I want you to remember this. You were not born to fit in, you were born to stand out. You were not created to be a watered-down version of someone else's idea of success. You were created to walk your own path, in your own time, with your own rhythm. You don't need to seek permission to be who you already are. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs your originality. It needs your truth, your light, your unfiltered soul. Because someone out there is waiting, not for a perfect person, but for a real one. Someone out there needs your story, your perspective, your courage to be real. So stay grounded, stay brave, stay honest, and most importantly, stay true. Because no matter how loud the world gets, your truth will always be louder if you're willing to listen. You don't have to be everything for everyone. You just have to be you. And that is more than enough.